Alright everyone, welcome back to another video. Last time we left off with Italian kisses greet American troops. We're now on to passing the glory that was Rome. June 4th, 1944. The city is spared. Contributing to the gala spirit, which marked this historic day, was the fact that neither Allied bombs nor Nazi demolitions had impaired the grandeur and beauty of Rome, or touched with war's destructive band the ancient monuments and temples. Here, a battalion of infantrymen passed the ancient Roman Colosseum, standing since the early days of Christianity. You can see all the troops. And yeah, it's a little bit older than just the days of Christianity, but I believe it's older. I could be wrong about that, actually. But yeah, Rome being untouched is definitely considered a blessing, because think about it, this city that is so important to many people is not destroyed. It's sad that the other ones were destroyed, but still. Welcome to Rome by a Roman. Oh, oops, I'll try to... There we go. June 5th, 1944. A homey greeting to the victors. As the Fifth Army entered Rome, Italian citizens were profuse in their greetings to the conquering Americans. As amid kisses and tears, our troops rolled along the streets hard after the retreating Germans. In this picture, an American private is embraced and kissed by an overjoyed, aged Italian woman as youngsters and soldiers enjoy the scene. You can see right there. Yeah, many of these people just glad to be free from the Germans. I'm sure they were much happier to at least meet the Americans, because once again, like I said in yesterday's video, if you watched that, some of these people had family even here, so there's a good chance that, one of the Americans, hey, cousin, that kind of stuff. Press conference and church. June 5th, 1944. The general gives thanks. Newspaper correspondents crowd around Lieutenant General W. Clark, commander of the Fifth Army, as he holds his first press conference in Rome. In the foreground are other officers of the Allied Army. In the picture at the right, General Clark kneels in prayer at Santa Maria degli Angeli Church in Rome. Sorry about if my pronunciation was a little wrong there. The Fifth Army commander gave thanks for the success of his fighters in the Holy City and prayed for victory, speedy and complete. Yeah, you can see officers in this picture. And then there's Clark. Yeah. A very holy and, as they said, the eternal city. Obviously, the Pope is in Rome. Things like that. I'm sure they met with him. German prisoners in the Piazza del Popolo. June 5th, 1944. Unkempt and young Nazis left behind. An American officer of the Fifth Army questions a group of German soldiers in front of a barbed wire barricade, which the Allies erected in the Piazza del Popolo, in the center of the city. The lion in the background is one of the 4 water-spouting lions, which forms the base of an obelisk erected by Augustus in 10 BC. To mark the subjugation of Egypt. So yeah, you can see the Americans talking to the Germans there. And there's that lion that they're talking about. Yeah, they are obviously very much talking up how old Rome is. And it is a great thing for future generations that, while it is unfortunate that many cities lost vast amount of history. At least I'm sure in these guys' eyes as well, at least Rome, one of the most historic cities in all of Europe, at least it survived a lot of the devastation. Roman citizens throw off a yoke. June 6th, 1944. Anti-fascists get their day in the sun. Anti-fascists bring in fascist leaders and sympathizers for trial after the Allies had marched into the Italian capital. This was the first time that the people who had opposed Mussolini and his policies throughout the years of his rule had a chance to deal with men who had tyrannized them ever since the black shirts had taken over the government. Yeah, these people are no longer afraid of the fascists. They're going to kick them out and kick them out violently. As many people have pointed out in history and things like that, the Italians, they didn't really like the fascists. They did at first because many Italians after the First World War felt slighted by Britain, France, and even America in some regards. Because what they wanted from that war, they didn't get. They were denied that, most of it. And so they felt very slighted. And that's one of the reasons that they joined this war with Germany, because they feel, hey, we can get what we wanted. But as the war goes on, many realize this is not the war they wanted. They just wanted their retribution. But it's not worth all of the men that are dying. And so by this point, many of them are sick of the fascists and they want them out. Well, they're still kind of scared because of the black shirts. But when the Allies arrive, there's your chance. Throw them off. Throw them off violently. Well, that's what they'll do. A new face on Mussolini's balcony. June 5th, 1944. Just like Il Duce. An American soldier of the triumphant Fifth Army imitates Benito Mussolini on the balcony of Palazzo Venezia? It was from this vantage point that the ex-dictator used to harangue the populace in the days when he was the ruler of Italy. The story goes that the American had promised his friends at home that he would pose on the balcony when he got to Rome. He is shown making good, but without the cheering thousands who formerly gaped early from beneath. Eagerly from beneath. You can see the American saying, "Hey, I'm Il Duce now." And yeah, there's a lot of times when Americans came into these places of historic places or things like this, and they just kind of make jokes of it. I don't know if it'll be in this book or the next one, but when the Allies roll into Germany, there's a famous picture of an American soldier sitting with the crown of the Holy Roman Emperor on his head. Just kind of things like that. These guys kind of just had a little bit of tomfoolery. The GIs take over a Mussolini project. June 10th, 1944. Amusement for the soldiers in Rome. Lieutenant General Mark W. Clark, Colonel Guy Gale, in charge of all Fifth Army rest centers, and Colonel Cheney L. Berthoff are seen leaving the stadium of the Foro Mussolini, where General Clark gave a brief speech dedicating the arena as the Fifth Army Rest Center. This great amphitheater was equipped for track meets and other outdoor recreations and was originally erected for the purpose of promoting fascism's athletic programs. Yeah, once again, the Allies are just going to kind of play jokes on Mussolini, especially the Americans. The British and some of them were a little bit more hardline with this stuff. They have a little bit more hate in them, reasonably so. They feel they've lost many and they blame a lot of this. But the Americans don't have as much of that. They have more of the a jovialness to them, you could say. Yeah, they just fought war. They might have lost men, But when they get in, they're going to do the most passive-aggressive FU to any of the leaders that they possibly can. Which, in my opinion, is kind of funny. But with that, that's going to do it for this video. If you guys liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a comment. Tell me what I could improve on. I always appreciate your feedback. And as always, subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Thank you.